Hi, I'm Mike Lamott, and today I'm going to walk you through one of my personal favorite trading tools, the Trade Gauntlet. Let's have a look. First thing that you're going to do, go to marrowwealth.com and click Tools. And right down here is the Trade Gauntlet. We're going to open that up. And to give you a little bit of background on this Trade Gauntlet, if you've ever had a checklist for your stocks, and if you don't, it's a very good idea to have a checklist of the things that you're looking for, all the different criteria, all the things that make this stock an ideal candidate for you. And then as you have your list of stocks, you go through and you check off, okay, it has this, it has that. But the problem that I found with checklists is that sometimes you add up all the little boxes at the end and you come up with the same number. And then how do you know which one is the better idea, stock A or stock B? Well, this solves that problem because not only is it a checklist, but it's a weighted average checklist. So it takes all the different criteria of things that I'm interested in, the earnings, sales, projections, everything that's related to the stock fundamentally, everything that's related to the stock technically. I'm looking for asymmetric reward to risk opportunities and all the different things that I'm interested in, the stage of the base, the chart pattern, the quality of that chart pattern, assessing the target, looking for confluences around the target, confluences around the different support levels, and the entry, then seeing if there's something that's a game changer about this stock. Does the story make sense given the current backdrop of the day? Is it a game changer? Does it have growth in its fund ownership? Is that consistently growing? Does management own a lot of the company? Are there multiple setups within the same sector or group? That's something that can really put the wind into a stock sales. Then I want to see, is the stock a leader? Is it in a leading industry group? Is it leading the market higher? Is it a leader among its peers? And I'll check off things for that. And then I want to see, how does this stock compare relative to the overall market environment? And then if the stock has IPO'd in the last 12 months or not, then there's an extra button for that. I fill in all this information, and then after we fill in all that information, it's going to give us a score, and then that score tells us how well does this stock fit this criteria? How well does it fit the types of things that we're interested in? So let's go through and try it. All right, so come over here. Let's just say that we are interested in current stock that I have right now is LI. LI. And let's go through what LI looks like. So I'm just going to pull up a chart of LI and I'm going to drag that chart over. This one actually came up over the weekend, this past weekend during our weekly mastermind. So just pull up MarketSmith. It's another tool that I like to use. And what I'm going to do here is, all right, so I turned off the webcam and we're going to be using ticker LI on this idea. Again, this was one that popped up on this weekend's mastermind and we put it through and this one scored high, but let's do this together here. So for LI, the entry that we were looking at was 38.90. Right, so we'll fill in the entry and the exit criteria first. The stop loss we were thinking of was 36.95, and the target we were looking at was 50. And the reason why 50, the reason for this high target is because this setup here is a high type flag. And if we take a look at it down here on the daily chart, it was giving us this nice little advanced entry point to get in right there. So after that, we can come back down into the gauntlet, and we could see that it started to fill out some information for us already. It's giving us the risk amount per share, the risk in percentage terms, how much we're going to make if price actually hits our target, and the reward to risk ratio on this trade. So far, so good. Now, something that I like to measure on every trade is my gut feel. The reason why I want to see the track gut feel is because, well, when I'm talking about gut feeling here, I'm talking about our experience. So as we gain more and more experience, it's something that we want to track because it's something that over time we can fine tune. So that way, as we're seeing more ideas in real time, then we can be more proactive on those ideas and basically learn to trust ourselves more. So this one, gut feeling of 5. But at the same time, we want to have multiple checks on ourselves. So it's never just trading based on gut feel alone. So I'll come over here and I'll start looking for the other earnings and sales and see what it has. So it doesn't have the earnings listed, the annual earnings, doesn't have the ROE or the EPS growth or this. It does. It actually does have the 25% last 3 quarters. It says NA there, but it's stronger than the quarter before that. So I will give it this last 3 quarters of 25% or more here. The sales also more than 25%, so I'll click that. It has not been accelerating quarter over quarter though. And as far as the EPS rating, top 3 versus its peers, the EPS rating is 76, and that definitely is better than its peers. So check off that box. And the SMR rating is a C. Let's see how it compares to the other ones in this group. I'm just clicking through some of the top ones in the group, and yeah, it's even with the C rating, it's tied for first. So I'll check off this box here. So far, so good. As far as the E category goes, checked off a bunch of boxes. Fantastic. Now, this high type flag is actually a first stage base, so I'll check that off. And it did have the right depth and the right length, and it did have the prior uptrend, 20%. It did have more up weeks than down weeks in the base, and there was actually a lot more accumulation in the than distribution in the base, and we can see that just in these weekly bars here. So as volume is increasing, if you take a look at any of these individual weekly bars and you look to the week immediately before it, and this one is up, then that means that that's an accumulation week. So if volume is up more than the week immediately before it, then that's an accumulation week. So there's more accumulation than distribution in the base. There's certainly 70% up weeks in the base, not 70% leading up to it though. Good shape to the setup. Volatility contraction. It is formed mostly above the 10-week line, tighten controlled action, and yeah, this actually is a fractal pattern. It's hard to see here on the weekly. Let me see if I can drill into the 30-minute here. Sometimes I like to use another service for to look even deeper, and I'll show it to you right over here. This is TradingView, and what I like to do in TradingView is come down here to a 30-minute, and you can see over here that it counts as another pattern that you may be familiar with at this point, depending on what other videos you've watched from us. It's a VCP, volatility contraction pattern. So a fractal VCP right inside the flag of this high type flag, and it is another reason to be interested in it. The target ended up being at a Fibonacci extension level, psychological price level of 50, big round number, and it was also a measured move. If we were to look at the different support levels for this stock, actually, let me bring back TradingView, because this is where I start to do a lot of work inside TradingView. I say a lot of work, but it doesn't really take all that long to really do. But over here, it's with my stop being where it is down here, we have multiple layers of confluence. We've got the 5, the 10, the 21, meaning that if price breaks out and then it stops me out, it would have to fall through all this to stop me out. And I like it when there are multiple layers of confluence all around that one area there. We have a Fibonacci level. Trend lines, I'll click this button off for the anchored VWAPs. That's that blue line right there. It was daily support, was not the weekly low, so can't check that one off. But it was getting above the daily and the weekly high, as well as getting above that other anchored VWAP there. And it's also corresponded almost, to the penny, the 0.5 retracement level. Not sure if you're able to see that, but it's 38.90. That's where my buy point was going to be. Growing industry, yeah, they make electric vehicles, and it's kind of like the, I like to think of them as the Tesla of China. Back to MarketSmith to find the fund ownership. So pop this back over here, and you can see here that the fund ownership is increasing quarter over quarter. So I'll click that off, and it's certainly up more than 20%. Yeah, it's not even close. Like you could just eyeball that, and you already know that it's more than 20%. The management owns about half the company, which is great, and it was the only stock setting up in the auto sector this week, so not checking that box off. The group rank, kind of terrible at 185. That said, all the Chinese automakers are all setting up, so I'm seeing that as a subgroup this week. The relative strength line was hitting 52-week highs even before today's breakout. Was hitting 52-week highs. The slope of the relative strength line was more than 45 degrees. This is a leader among its peers. We saw that when we were flipping through the charts. This is already into fresh highs, and so is the relative strength line. And it's certainly a leader in the market at this point. It was consolidating sideways. Now it continued its uptrend. But at the time, we clicked sideways and sideways because the market trend was sideways, and so was the trade. And did this IPO in the last 12 months? No, it was 2 years ago. So we clicked no over here. And then we get the score, 7.26. So for me, when I'm looking at this, I want any stock that I'm going to trade to score at least a 7 in order for me to take that trade. I looked at, when I did my post-analysis from last year, I noticed that the best trades of the year, every single one of them where I performed the best had scores over 7. So that, right, like using this data to journal about and then do post-analysis, it all kind of works together here, right? So taking that, I'm able to say, okay, I can make my performance even better by only focusing on trades that score 7 or better, right? And so I'm trading less, I'm not over trading, and I'm focused on the best of the best ideas here. So I've got that score, and then I can email it to myself. So I'll email it to myself. I'm just gonna email it over to info@marawealth.com. tradeGauntlet.com. If you guys need to reach out to us at all, that's the email to do it. Click submit, and away it goes. And you could put your email in there and email these scores to yourself. It makes it very convenient to keep track of. And if you have any questions about any of this, how to use the tool or anything at all, please let me know.